fast versus musical, why speed isn't everything, and why I personally prefer to work on my melodic chops. So what I want to talk about here today is I want to discuss the feasibility of focusing on guitar speed or on your technique versus training your overall musicality. I also want to give speed, or let's put it that way, the ability to subdivide the beat in a fast tempo, because that's really what speed is. I want to give it its proper place. And then last but not least, I want to give you viable strategies on developing your melodic musical voice that is able to play slow and fast and just be able to be more musical with your choices. But why should you even be listening to me? Hey, my name is Ulrich, and I've been a professional guitarist for 25 plus years. I'm also the founder of TGT Academy, where I help fellow guitarists, hobby guitarists, and some professional ones alike to reach their full potential and their full expression on this beautiful instrument. Well, let's just start maybe with a little flashback into the late 90s when I was a teenager, where I developed a little bit of an obsession with technique and being able to shred. And probably all of us have been going through a phase like that. If you've been playing guitar for anywhere, let's say like 10 plus years, then probably there has been a time where you spend a lot of time working on your right hand technique and working on your hand synchronizations to especially crack this magical skill called alternate picking. Yes? All right, so then we are in the same camp. So today I just want to enhance the horizon here a little bit and give you a few ideas, a few concepts that I discovered over the years that not only gave me a lot of musical joy, but also allowed me to develop a more playful approach with the alternate technique, with the topic of speed in general, and instead of like kind of Olympic weightlifting type of technical drills, allowed me to be a more loose improviser that still can play some fast runs, but approaches them from a slightly different angle. And if you enjoy this approach, then it might just open some new pathways for you as well. All right. So let's start with some alternatives to this alternate picking technique. Because let's face it, no matter how talented you are, it's going to take a tremendous amount of work to take this technique up to speed. To be able to just synchronize notes on one string is going to be difficult enough. Yeah? To even just go from this tremolo picking to this, this is already a long training journey. At least for me it was. So at some point I realized okay, what am I really trying to achieve here? Okay, I want to be strong. I want to be masculine. I want to get the respect of my peers. I want to have the ladies turn around when I play a solo. What is my motivation for this? Yeah? And then I realized that really what I'm after is a certain sound. And I realized that there's different variations to this sound. Yeah? And that led me down the path of legato technique. Because anything you play, like with alternate picking, you can also play legato. It might not sound as strong here with this tone, you might feel like you're weaker, but the truth is that the legato sound is very powerful too. I just want to demonstrate here. I'm going to play over this backing track here, and I'm going to use mainly legato, and you're going to tell me if that sounds weak by any means. We see like we can totally live without excessive alternate picking, yeah? And we can play very fast, and I wasn't even trying right now to play fast, really, yeah? So legato is a great way to kind of ease into the speed, I think. And I would start with the infamous 3-note per string sequence with this 6-note patterns that goes like this. That's where I would start, yeah? You can play it as a triplet, or you can just play it as groups of 4. That's very powerful, yeah? And you can of course move it around. And this will build the chops for your left hand, because the left hand and right hand, they're going to work together. So in order for them to work together well, we should strengthen each hand individually first, I believe. All right, so one more thing here. If you noticed here, I wasn't suddenly just playing very legato-esque sequences with no melodic content here when I switched to legato technique. But I was pretty much playing the same melodies that I would be playing on my alternate picking technique, right? So it's very important, I think, that you approach technique from a melodic standpoint, and that you have the goal to play melodies, because otherwise you're just gonna play empty technical phrases. Doesn't matter at which speed, you can play them slow, then at some point maybe you play them fast, there's still gonna be empty technical phrases. So make sure that you always play with intent and you always chase a melody. That's just my personal advice for you. Okay, let's move on here. Let's talk about for a moment about the illusion of speed when a subdivision is really even. Like if someone plays really locked in one subdivision, we can get the illusion that this is very, very fast, even though it might not even be that fast. I'll give you one example. I will play some 16th notes here over this groove, and this groove is moderately fast, We're talking here, this is like around 130 beats per minute probably. So I will throw in some legato 16th triplets here, and probably you will say like, wow, this sounds really fast. But the reason it sounds so fast is that the subdivision is so clear. But let's try it, let's see it, and let's see if I can really hit that subdivision in a clean way. Let's see. So yeah, I don't know if I was able to demonstrate that, but with me hitting a clear subdivision, this sounded way faster than it actually was. It sounded like a very, super fast. Like you couldn't hear the individual notes anymore. And the clear subdivisions tend to sound faster than if you just play as fast as you can, and you're just kind of like shredding without knowing the subdivisions. That's what a lot of guitar players do. They just play as fast as they can, and it actually is not gonna sound as fast as me locking into a subdivision. So the point here is you don't even have to worry too much about playing fast. When you play good ideas well and at a moderate tempo, it will sound faster than they actually feel to you. So you don't have to necessarily agree with me, but who knows, maybe this can give you some new ideas. And if you're someone that has been trying to play faster, maybe I just need to say one sentence that makes sense to you, that is going to help you, and that I'm completely good with that. So my main point that I want to make here today is that it's better to focus on the subdivisions and learning how to subdivide the beat well, and forget about the need to play fast. And instead, just subdivide well, play with awareness, play good melodies when you improvise, have good melodies to rely on. Don't just play like empty sequences that you learn as a technique drill, but really try to play some purposeful melodies that you hear. And if you place them well within the beat, within the groove, you're going to start sounding much faster and much more fluid and much more professional and much better, to be honest. Because isn't that really what we are trying to achieve when we want to play faster? They want to play better, get all the glory, get the attention of the girls, get the respect of our peers, and get rich and famous. Oh, I think I might be in the wrong video here. But you know what I mean. So isn't our main objective to just be better and more musical? That's really what I'm questioning here, putting out there. And I want to do an experiment here, and I'm just going to play some good melodies here and not play fast, but then switch the subdivisions in a smart and smooth way, hopefully. And yeah, you tell me if that sounded smooth and fast to you, or if I'm just hallucinating. All right, let's give this a try one more time here. I call this rhythmical sparring. So where I just put on the backing track and I just play around with the subdivisions. I also play around with different articulations. Now I was playing more alternate picking again, but you could tell I had some legato elements in my playing. I was kind of mixing it, and I was more concerned about musical phrasing than I was of sheer alternate picking strength. And maybe that's just my excuse because I am no Yngwie Malmsteen or Paul Gilbert. But honestly, I also don't want to be. I'm pretty happy in my own skin here, and at the end of the day, I can just be the best version of myself. Maybe it's the same for you. So if you see or feel your potential, but you feel like there's stuff that you don't know and you've been missing the mark for yourself, you have unfinished business with your guitar playing, then I want to invite you to click on the link below here and send me an application where you just give me a brief overview of your guitar background, where you are in your playing. And if it feels like I might be able to help you, then I'm just gonna message you back and send you some resources and give you an idea what we could possibly achieve together based on your answers. So please be honest when you fill out that application. There's no point in giving answers that are not true. Yes, and if I can help you on your journey, that's what TGT stands for, Total Guitar Transformation. All stands for helping passionate guitarists to reach their fullest potential in their improvisation. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to play faster, but it means that you have to play with more purpose. In that sense, thanks for being on my channel here, and hang around. If you're still here, you can watch this video here next.